Do you want one of the safest vehicles in the world? Maybe one of the most technologically advanced? Maybe one of the quickest? What about this? Have you ever wanted your own personal chauffeur? What about a car you can have a relationship with? A car that can be your friend like Kit from Knight Rider? If you think I'm talking about a sci-fi book, I'm not. I'm talking about reality. And that reality starts with this 2023 Tesla Model Y Long Range All-Wheel Drive. Hi, this is Joe from Way Scarff Ford, and let's talk about it. All right, I just threw out a lot of statements, so let's start with safety. That's obviously important for a lot of people. This is gonna be what you're gonna move your precious cargo in, your friends, your family, your loved ones. And the Model Y is one of the safest vehicles on the road by the way it's constructed. And by its technology, it has passive and active safety features that makes this one of the safest vehicles on the road. Starting off with the frunk, which is nice because it's like having a second trunk, extra storage, but this is also a safety feature. Without an engine here, you have a crumple zone that's 60% larger than a vehicle with a gas engine in the front. You have all this space to absorb crash energy in a frontal collision. Then we have the weight of the battery. The battery being so low to the ground gives us a very low center of gravity, so it has an extremely low rollover risk. Tesla does tests for rollover where they push these vehicles sideways into a sand pit, which would normally force a vehicle to flip upside down, but the Teslas just can't seem to go all the way over. And for whatever reason, if they do end up on their roof, the weight of their battery will flip it back up on its wheels. So it's like a keel, it's like an anchor keeping this planted to the ground. Then on top of that, you have safety features like the Autopilot, forward collision warning, blind spot warning. Statistics reign true, and a vehicle operating on autopilot or full self-driving is statistically proving to be a lot safer by many margins. So what about having your own personal chauffeur? What kind of foolishness is that? Well, I'm not being foolish. It's certainly the case. We can see this has full self-driving computer 4. So this has, as of November 2025, the latest in full self-driving technology that you can get from Tesla. Do some research, watch some YouTube videos. Full self-driving 4 is absolutely amazing. I have full self-driving 3 in my Tesla, so it's an older system, older hardware, and older computer. Not as advanced software as what's running in this Tesla of the full self-driving. I think it's up to 14 now. I'm still operating 12. I've been using full self-driving for 3 years, and even my older antiquated system still allows me to drive hands-free home and work. Literally hands-free. I hit a button, take me to work, take me to home, or I can put it wherever in the navigation system I want to go, and the car takes me there. It makes left and right hand turns, merges in the highway, passes people. There's different settings you can put in hurry mode, and it will aggressively pass people that are driving too slow on the highway. And I don't need to touch the wheel. All I need to do is stare out the window and pay attention. There's a camera that monitors things, so if you're spacing out, looking away, looking at the screen too long, it will warn you, and it will disable the full self-driving if you're not paying attention. So Tesla's doing a great job making sure people don't abuse these systems. But one day, this could truly be a vehicle that could drive itself. It's not set in stone, it's not guaranteed, but it's getting close. Tesla's operating robo-taxis in multiple markets. One in Austin where there wasn't even a driver in the driver's seat. There's a safety driver in the passenger seat, and it's driving around customers, paid fares, and it's only gonna get better. And some people say, oh, well, what about Waymo? Waymo's been doing these, full self-drive, these robo-taxis or whatever you want to call them for years. Well, that's true, but Waymo's approach requires hundreds of thousands of dollars of LiDAR equipment in the vehicle. It requires you to pre-map the area with LiDAR, so it basically acts in a geofenced area. Full self-driving with Tesla is a completely vision-based system. It does not use LiDAR, it just uses a bunch of cameras. We have cameras, we have 2 eyes, and we are able to drive cars with 2 eyes, and deaf people can drive, so you don't need necessarily to hear stuff. I think Tesla's working on the hearing part, but yeah, cameras all the way around it, it never gets distracted, always pays attention, doesn't fall asleep, doesn't look on its smartphone, doesn't get in a fight with its spouse, or yells at its kids. It's always paying attention, and that makes it safer. And yeah, with this vision-based approach, you can basically plop a Tesla anywhere where there are roads, and it will be able to navigate itself. It doesn't need to be pre-mapped out with LiDAR, doesn't need to operate in a geofenced area. Even though Waymo and some other companies had a little bit of a head start as far as the driverless vehicles go, Tesla is quickly gaining ground, and some would argue are exceeding by leaps and bounds, and will continue to do so. So it's possible in the future that maybe one day this could drop you off at your work and go park itself, or it could go out there and operate as a robo-taxi, offsetting the cost of ownership by giving rides to people. And it's not included on this vehicle. The full self-driving does have autopilot, which is kind of full self-driving for the highway. It just, it'll stay in its lane. It won't change lanes. It won't stop for red lights, but it works great in the highway stop and go traffic. It's like smart cruise control. The full self-driving is either $8,000 or $99 a month. How much would it cost you to have your own personal chauffeur? I don't know, $80,000, $100,000 a year at your beck and call to drive you wherever you want? For $99 a month, you can pretty much have that. You can't read a book, you can't completely space out. It might get to that point. It might get to the point where in a year or two, this vehicle could have you in the back seat, maybe picking you up at the bar, saving you from a DUI, saving you have to pay for an Uber, and drive you home. Or if you have a 2-hour stop and go commute into downtown Seattle, rather than wasting 4 hours of your life during the work week, having to drive a car and stop and go traffic, you can do more productive things like work, or you can use the entertainment system to watch movies, take a nap. Okay, this thing's like a supercomputer on wheels. So I talk about this thing being technologically advanced, and it is absolutely amazing. This screen, some people ridicule this screen, but it's infinitely reconfigurable. It's constantly getting updated. Tesla's constantly sending over their updates. There's actually one to download right now. And Tesla, they write their own software. They make the majority of their own components in-house. They're one of the only manufacturers that actually makes their own media control centers. So they're able to do things, innovate, have features on these cars that no one else can because Tesla's vertical integration. Tesla tries to source everything and build everything within its own manufacturing base as it can, allowing for this. This is like using an iPad. They're constantly updating it, adding features. One day it got an update and all of a sudden you have blind spot cameras. One day it got an update and you can play new video games. It's just endless. And this, those PC gamers that would have like those nitrogen cooled computers and stuff like that would, or circulate air, air conditioned air into their computer because it's because the processor is running so hot, they don't want it to catch fire or reduce its performance. Well, that's kind of the same thing with Tesla. This screen, the infotainment system actually has coolant tubes going into it, cooling down the processor. It's so fast, it generates so much heat. It actually uses the cooling system that also cools the battery of this vehicle to cool down the infotainment system. I don't know if there's any other vehicle that I know of that has an infotainment system that has a processor that's so fast that generates so much heat that it actually needs liquid cooling. It's literally like a supercomputer on wheels. Okay, what about having a vehicle that could be your friend, have a conversation with like Kit? Well, another over-the-air update just came out. Is you have Grok. You do have to have premium connectivity to use it, but let's see if I can find an archive demo of this cool system. Another new feature that Tesla has added is this, Grok. Could you tell me why the Model 3 is one of the safest vehicles on the road?
The Model 3 earns its spot as one of the safest because of its solid design, like a fortified battery pack, low in the chassis for better stability and less rollover risk. It's got a mix of passive safety, like a strong aluminum and steel structure, and active safety, with features like automatic emergency braking standard. NHTSA gave it 5-star ratings across the board, saying it has the lowest injury probability of any car they've tested. Plus, the battery layout creates huge crumple zones, deflecting impact away from passengers. It's basically built like a tank, but smarter.
That's fantastic. I like to improve on my Japanese. I know a little bit. Can you help me learn some Japanese words?
Sure. I'd love to help with your Japanese. Since you know a bit, how o genki desu ka? That's how are you? Super common for casual chats. Want daily phrases, vocab, or something specific like food or music words? I can quiz you too. Say a word, and I'll give you the Japanese and pronunciation. Ready to start?
Sure. What does daijoubu mean?
Daijubu means it's okay, or are you all right? Like when someone asks if you're fine after a stumble. Pronounce it Dai-jo-bu. Super useful for casual check-ins. Want more like that?
That's good, thank you so much. Grok is AI, like ChatGPT, Anthropic, Google Gemini. You can have conversations with it. You can do trivia games. You can ask questions. You can use it to study. If you're learning a foreign language like Japanese or Spanish, it can actually help you learn a language and give you testing, have a conversation, help you learn new words. The options are infinite. I mean, you're limited to all the information of humankind. That's basically what AI uses. It scrubs the internet and basically pulls all the information that humans have ever created that's recorded in recorded history. So with all that information, I mean, whatever your interest is, whatever your goals are, what your occupation, your hobbies, it can interact with you and help you improve on areas that you need to. Man, I just have a tendency to ramble on about Teslas, but as you can see, there is just so much to talk about. What other vehicles have all these cool features? There's a lot of great cars out there. I've been in the car business 30 years. I have a love for all cars. I love a Mustang with a V8 engine and a manual transmission. That's nice on some back roads and stuff like that, but for daily commuting, for having a family vehicle, this is a compelling choice for a lot of people. And because of its clean sheet design, not having drive shafts and exhaust systems and emission control systems going through the floor, it allows it for a lot of interior space. This has more interior space than a comparable sized compact crossover. This is about the same size as like a Honda CR-V, Toyota RAV4, Mercedes-Benz GLC, Acura RDX, Lexus NX Series, and that's really what this competes with. At the price point, the features, the refinement, the performance that you get in a Model Y, you wouldn't compare it with a Honda CR-V or a Toyota RAV4. You'd compare this with a BMW or Mercedes. Also amazing headroom. I'm 6'2". Look how much headroom I have. Great legroom. The space is absolutely unbelievable for a compact crossover. There are a couple different drive configurations on the Model Ys. There's been a standard range, there's been a long range. This is a long range, so it's a fully charged range of about 330 miles. There's also single rear electric motors, and there's dual electric motors making it all-wheel drive. This is a dual motor, so there's a motor in the front, motor in the back. That's like having two engines, so 0 to 60 under 5 seconds. I think I also mentioned in my beginning speech, yeah, this is one of the quickest cars in this class. You can put a lot of purpose-built sports cars to shame with the performance of this Tesla. Absolutely amazing. Nice big cargo area. You can also flip down the seats, and this has a camp mode, by the way. Camp mode, dog mode. Yeah, there is actually a dog mode. So we'll have a picture of a dog on the screen saying my owner will return soon. It's a comfortable, whatever, 70, 75 degrees in here, so people don't smash your windshield in. Camp mode works great for the Model Y. There's actually a lot of space. It allows you to use the infotainment system, use a cabin heater without having to use other systems normally when the vehicle's running to conserve energy, and you can get a lot of mileage out of camp mode. People do it all the time. We have lots of storage in the Y. As you can see, the front has storage. The back here has storage, so you have storage pockets on both sides. Then under here, you have a sub-trunk. Normally there'd be an exhaust system, gas tanks, but we have a huge sub-trunk. And under here, there's some additional storage space. Also, one of the lowest maintenance vehicles that you can buy. Electric motors, electric cars don't need a lot of maintenance. There's no oil changes, no spark plugs, no emission control systems, no fuel systems. With regenerative braking, the brakes last literally many hundreds of thousands of miles. Sometimes on EVs, it's not uncommon to get over 100,000, sometimes over 150,000 miles of brakes out of a Tesla. I've bought and sold many hundreds of Teslas over the past 5 years, and I've never had to do brakes on any of them. You could almost call me a testpert. I have 30 years of car knowledge. I've bought and sold many cars in the car business. I've seen how cars hold up over the years. And Teslas, they're an amazing product. And the Model Y was introduced about 5 years ago in 2020 for the 2020 model year. And since then, it's moved on to be the best-selling vehicle in the whole entire world for 2023, 2024, and maybe even 2025. So EV technology is here. Fully charged range 300 miles. Your house is like the gas station. You plug it in. When you get home, you wake up the next morning, you have a full charge. Tesla has an amazing supercharging network, so you can pretty much drive anywhere in the US, and you'll always be able to find charging. The Tesla has a trip planner, so it will help you find a charger. It'll always have your back. If you don't have enough range to make it to your destination or make it back home, it will warn you and says, hey, do you want to navigate to the closest charger? So mileage, range anxiety, All these anxieties and worries that people have about Teslas or EVs are superfluous. And people worry about the batteries. Well, guess what? This has a balance of an 8-year, 120,000 mile warranty on the battery and drive units. That's like a engine warranty for 120,000 miles. There's not a lot of car companies that warranty their engines and transmissions and axles for 8 years, 120,000 miles. So obviously, if you do have to worry about the battery going bad, it'll be very far away. And the failure rate on batteries is very low on Teslas, 1%, less than 1%. That's why they have the confidence of offering an 8-year, 120,000 mile warranty. If batteries were going bad left and right on Teslas, they'd be going bankrupt replacing these expensive battery packs. Because the batteries are one of the most expensive parts of an EV. That's why a lot of manufacturers are losing money on EVs. You kind of scratch your head, well, why are these manufacturers losing billions of dollars on EVs? I mean, they've been manufacturing cars for hundreds of years. It can't be that different. It should be simpler. There's no engine, there's no transmission. It's just a battery and electric motors. It's like an appliance. Why are they losing money? They should be making more money on EVs. But the unfortunate reason is the cost of batteries is very expensive, but every year it's getting cheaper and cheaper. So eventually, I think I think it might take another couple of years, 5 or 10 years, but eventually there'll be a parity, and even more so, it'll come to the point where EVs will actually be less than gas cars, and that will really make the industry, and then we'll really see some changes in the industry. Well, that's my little long-winded spiel about this Tesla Model Y. Thanks so much for watching. We're Way Scarff Ford. We sell new Fords, new Isuzus, and a very wide variety of premium vehicles. We always have a great selection of Teslas and other EVs. Ford has some fantastic EVs, the Lightning, the Transit EV, and of course the Mach-E, which is a formidable competitor to the Model Y. I guess if you're not crazy about Tesla, you don't like Elon, you want something different, there are a lot of Teslas on the road. There's a lot of Model Ys. You're not going to feel special having a Model Y, even though it's a great car, because a lot of people have them. So if you want, something else that's a little bit more exclusive, I highly recommend the Mach-E. The Mach-E is awesome as well. Thanks, and I have a lot of great videos on this channel about Mach-Es. Check them out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.